All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
The Hebrew Israelites back again with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai. Before we begin this lesson, we're going to face the east, give all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakah Kodash. All right, double honors to the elders and the apostles who rule well. They are the leaders of all Israel in these end times, being great millstone. Okay, we're not a part of their camp, but we learn strictly under their teachings, and we believe wholeheartedly that they have the 100% truth. Hence the reason why we're bringing this out, this particular lesson addressing, a so-called prophet, which we're going to get into that in a minute too. But a guy named Chief Ephraim, right, well known amongst us Hebrew Israelites. He has a large following of people that, don't really understand what's going on. They don't understand the gospel like they think they do. They think that going out on the highways and hedges and teaching the Bible is being a man of the Lord. It's more to it than that, man. Okay. But anyway, man, shalom to you brothers on the highways and hedges, giving up your bodies a living sacrifice, man. Shalom to you brothers, man, and all you sincere listeners that follow us and understand who has 100% truth. Shalom to you. Shalom means peace be unto you, man. Shalom to you, Akwaf in order, man. You Israelite sisters that are in order. Very important. And shalom to you, Israelites scattered abroad. It may look like these other nations, but your seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, making you a Hebrew Israelite. Because this thing ain't about color, it is about your seed line, where your seed line goes back to. So if you look like a so-called white man and your seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, then you are a Hebrew Israelite, regardless of what you may appear to look like. And this is a stumbling block to people that don't have the spirit of discernment. They don't, they're not the true judges. They don't have an understanding as to what the gospel is truly about. All right. But anyway, speaking of the spirit of discernment, this is one thing that Chief Ephraim is lacking, man. Okay, because he's recently come out with a video talking about, and he thought he had it. He thought he had Great Millstone and the affiliates in a trick bag, because we're pretty much one of the only ones that are teaching you what the truth is, what the mark of the beast actually is, with scripture, going into the meaning of words, dissecting it ever so elegantly. You know what I mean? The brothers bringing out all kinds of lessons. And I think personally that Chief Ephraim is a bit butthurt because it's June, you know what I mean? And the brothers have been, making mockery of Nate and a statement he made a while back, a famous statement talking about, it's June, ain't no microchips, right? Thought he was doing something against the brothers that have the truth, but really all it did was help the truth, because now we're exposing more and more through the gospel and through current events that are showing you what the vision is, and it's being more revealed who has the truth and who don't. And it ain't, all that scoffing and stuff ain't doing these people no good, man. It's actually backfiring on them. Okay, normally we don't address these bug outs that come with these so-called $1 million questions, which really ain't a $1 million question. That's your 2 cents, man. Far from a $1 million question. That is two shekels, man. All right, because it really ain't, nothing at all. It's light work, really, because it's very easy and very plain for the holy to see what the MOTB is. That it is 100% fact that it is the microchip, man. Okay. But anyway, man, without further ado, right? Because some of you out there might not know what we're talking about. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and, obviously this is a live video outdoors. So we're going to hold the phone up and try to play this video that Chief Ephraim just recently released, addressing Great Millstone and the affiliates, talking about the mark of the beast can't be the microchip because this and that, is 2 cents, like I said, right? So we'll show you, and we're gonna speak on that. All right. Normally we wouldn't address these bug outs, but we're doing this for edification's sake for the elect, man, and to expose more and more who has the truth and who are leading Israel astray, man, because not everybody speaks the same thing and not everybody is right. You have a lot of different sects when it comes to the Hebrew Israelite thing. And most of them out there, you know, scriptures say many are called, few are chosen. You may be called into the knowledge that you're a Hebrew Israelite, but it don't mean you're the chosen, man. And it's becoming more and more evident who the chosen are. We still don't know, but it's becoming more and more clear as to who has the truth, man. All right. So without further ado, we'll play this video real quick and then we'll speak on it.
Shalom, shalom. Hey, I got the $1 million question, right? For those that claim the mark of the beast is a microchip, right? With everything going on in the earth, who's going to implement the mark of the beast? What nation is going to implement the mark of the beast? Because if you say it's all white people, you got to be specific, because obviously Russia is not doing what America is doing. China is not doing what America is doing. Iran is definitely not doing what America is doing. What nations or what white nation is going to implement the mark of the beast? Because if you say it's America, then obviously it ain't going to be the whole world. So this is where the doctrine kind of falls very short. It takes a deep dive very short. If the mark of the beast is going to be a worldwide thing and you can't eat, right, and drink and buy and sell, right, all of this stuff with a physical chip, the $1 million question is, who's going to implement it? And I'm going to leave y'all with that, right? Because obviously the nations ain't getting along. And whatever NATO's doing, BRICS ain't with it. And whatever BRICS is doing, NATO ain't with it. So who's going to implement it? This is why I don't subscribe, and neither do the servants subscribe to the mark of the beast being a microchip. So reel me that, Batman. Shalom. Shalom.
Yeah. He said that with such pride and arrogance, man. He said it almost as if he had us. Gotcha, bitch. He thought it was a gotcha, bitch moment, man.
Yeah, just to sort of add. I mean, he's saying all that, you know, to try and get a reaction, right? Which obviously brothers are gonna speak on it, because we ain't gonna let something like that just glide by without addressing it properly. You know, but he does seem like he's probably just not getting the attention that he's been looking for. Because that post there was more so for the people that don't believe. That's who he's trying to appeal to, right? But they're, you know, the ones that are listening to this guy, you know, their judgment's already set, you know, unless they repent. But that was what that's for. He's butthurt, you know.
Yeah, man. Right, because that's really easily addressed, because the scriptures don't say what nation is gonna set it off first, man, and that's irrelevant anyway. All we know is that all nations are gonna be on board with this, okay? Just like how if it's something serious enough, they're all gonna come in. They're all gonna be in unison with it, man. And this has been in the making for a very long time, regardless of the fact that they're all fighting. Kingdom is gonna rise against kingdom, and then the scriptures say that he causeth all to receive a mark in their right hand, right? Which we know, we can see that is going to be the digital currency that they're pushing toward, which is going to change everything. And then they're going to make us try to make us a perpetual slave through their digital all, man. Okay, it's really clear to see. It's right there in your face if you have the spirit of discernment. And he's talking as if he's a servant. He said, I'm talking to the servants, right? When he's not a servant, and he'll find out soon in that day, because the Lord says, my servant shall eat, you shall go hungry, my servant shall sing, and you shall be sorrowful, you know, roughly paraphrasing. And we'll see, Chief Ephraim, on that day if you really are the servant you think you are, man. Because like I said, many are called and few are chosen, and it's becoming very clear that you probably aren't chosen, man. Okay, you shall know them by their fruits.
It says in the scriptures as well, pride goeth destruction. That's a lot of pride, to sit there and say, you know, to make a statement like that, what nation is going to start it off? You can't see it in all of the nations already. Like, all you got to do is do a YouTube search. You know, you can see this digital currency, you know, getting ready to be implemented. Like Sweden, I think it's Sweden, one of the countries, Finland, Sweden, they don't even accept cash anymore. They're a cashless society already. China, they got the social credit score system. You can see how it all ties in.
Yeah, China are well on board. They've been on board with this, man. You know, I wouldn't even be surprised if they're the ones to set it off.
I think not too long ago, it was Nigeria. I think it was Nigeria where they changed their currency to digital currency.
Yeah, they're heavy on board with that too.
Yeah.
But it's gonna spread, okay? Because when this system crashes, when the dollar collapses, everything's gonna change, and then they're gonna have to, you know, obviously this is gonna be by design, and then there's gonna be a reboot in the whole system. And then when the system comes back up and running, you're gonna have a damn chip in your hand if the Lord ain't dealing with you, man. Okay, so we'll see, Chief Ephraim. You can go ahead and take it if you want, man. We don't care. Okay. We hope that you don't, okay? Because we don't want any of our people to. But we already know what's written, man. We know that, you know, there's gonna be scoffers, there's gonna be people that just have their lot, man. And we're okay with that, okay? Because we understand that not all Israel's gonna make it, and not all people that call themselves prophets or servants are truly servants of the Lord, man. And your fruit, Chief Ephraim, man, over the years, man, you've been exposing yourself as just, you ain't right, man. Okay.
Got agent activities, man.
Proper.
Like, you know, I'm just calling a spade a spade. You know, it looks like an agent, talks like an agent, walks like an agent. Hey, it's an agent. You know, and you know, there's some questionable activity you've been doing, man.
This is Habakkuk 2 and 3. It says, for the vision, which is the prophecies, right? The prophecy of the mark of the beast, the famine, you know, all these prophecies that we've been speaking about, right? The vision. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. So these prophecies are for a specific time, okay? Which right now we can see that this is the time. This is the time of all times. This is the time where we're on the verge of the arrival of our Lord and Savior, Hamashiach Yahushai, man, okay? So this is the time for that vision, man. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. It says, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. So now this vision of the mark of the beast is speaking loud and clear, but only the elect are gonna hear it, man. You know, not everybody that calls himself a Hebrew Israelite is out there on the highways and hedges. And Chief Ephraim's all about, he's one of them guys that says you have to be in the busiest parts of the city, otherwise you're not a man of the Lord, man. You obviously don't understand the term, the understanding when it comes to the highways and hedges. Okay, try to figure out what the byways are and the hedges, man. Okay. Plus, we're on the internet, all right, and the gospel. Yeah, the biggest highway, and the gospel's gonna reach who it reaches. All we need to do is preach it. Okay. So the Lord is going to do the heavy lifting, man. Talking about you guys, you know, because this is something he said back in the day. He made a statement as if, you know, all arrogant and proud, like, you know, our brothers out in the field like we are or whatever. It means you're not a man of the Lord because you're not face to face. Yeah, I take my hat off. It is better to be out there as far as, you know, being able to edify. That's where the people are. That's where a lot of people are. But it's not through our works that is going to bring them in. The Lord is going to bring them in. So we could be stood here in the field and someone could be watching our video, or someone could just stroll up to us. It's never happened yet because I live in a village, so I'm not expecting that. But you never know. But the Lord is going to bring the increase, man. All we got to do is do as is commanded, all right? And he says highways and hedges, Chief Ephraim, right? So, yeah, man. You know, it's very easy to see what the MOTB is. Let me quickly bring out another quick preset, unless you got something. Okay. 2 Corinthians. All right, this is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 4 and 3. It says, for if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. So, Chief Ephraim, you are showing signs that you're just lost, man. Okay, because all countries have come together and have not broken the Antarctic Treaty. Regardless of all the fighting they're doing, they are still holding on to that treaty firm because they understand the importance of it, right? Okay. It's the same with this MOTB. They all understand that the MOTB needs to be initiated. And at the end of the day, the Lord is going to put it in the hearts of the kings to fulfill his will, man. Okay. So all, you know, it ain't about what they want. They could want to spill the beans and say, hey, it's the mark of the beast. Or they could want to say, oh, I don't want to get on board with it. But it ain't up to them. The Lord is going to make sure it happens. Okay. Because it says it in the word. Do you believe in the Bible or not, Chief Ephraim? All right. Talking about how, you know, you speak as if somebody that don't believe, man. Basically, right? Let me continue with this, right? 2 Corinthians 4:3. But if our gospel be hid, meaning the truth, right? Not a gospel of some 2/3 bug out that thinks he knows the Bible and is teaching, you know, wayward doctrines. That ain't the gospel. There's only one gospel. There's only one truth. Who has it? Ain't you, Chief Ephraim? Obviously, man. Right? So it says, but if our gospel, the 100% truth, be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. Verse 4, 2 Corinthians 4:4, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not. So you've been blinded by Esau, okay? Esau has got you by the balls, Chief, and he ain't letting go. Satan has desired to sift you, and it's looking more and more as if he's gonna succeed, okay? Because ultimately it's the will of the Lord anyway who gets this and who don't. But if our gospel be hid, it's hid to them that are lost, man. Them that are able to be devoured. It says in verse 4, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, who is the image of the Most High, should shine unto them. Okay? So, you know, some people out there, the Lord don't want them to get it, okay? The Lord said, make the ears of this people fat, make their heart heavy, make their ears fat and all that, roughly paraphrasing, right? So not everybody that goes out in the highways and hedges, don't matter if you've been doing this for years and you've been diligent as shit. That don't mean nothing because it ain't about works lest we should boast, man. Lest any man should boast, all right? It's about mercy. And the Lord gives grace and mercy to the humble. Chief Ephraim, you lack that quality, man. Okay? Well, what have I done? Yeah, Shalom, bro.
Hey, shalom, Mark.
Abadiah, Israel, Shalom. Yahweh Shemi Shai Barakatah to you. Yeah, man. Nice to see you join our live, bro. Yeah. Right. So let's continue, right? Got a couple more presets we want to bring out. All right. I'm going to go to the book of Sirach, chapter 39 and verse 24. And it reads, as his ways are plain to the holy, so are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked. Now we know ultimately the wicked is Esau Edom, right? Job 9:24, Malachi 1:4. We know that, but you also have people that are blinded by the God of this world, the wicked, right? Just like in that previous scripture that I read, in whom the what is it? In whom the God of this world have blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the glorious gospel of Mashiach, who is the image of the Most High, should shine unto them. So the God of this world, Esau, has blinded them because they're of the wicked, man. They're of their father, the devil. And they don't even know it. Just because they got a Bible in their hand, they got their fringes on, right? Their little t-shirt fringes, and they think that they're a man of the Lord, man. Okay? There's more to it than that, because he, you know, this is one thing he seems to lack understanding of, because he's not coming, he doesn't have the testimony of Yahushai, man. The elect have the testimony of Yahushai. Chief Ephraim, you obviously lack that because you're out here, you know, you're not warning the people of the impending danger that's right there in your face, man. You know, even if you don't believe that the microchip is the mark of the beast, why ain't you warning your congregation not to take it anyway, man? You know? When I don't, you know, maybe you have and I just don't know, but I'm pretty sure you haven't, man. So it says, Sirach 39:24. As his ways are plain to the holy, they're plain to us. We can see clearly what the vision is, right? It says, so are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked. Now, we're talking about wicked people, man, because for you to lead your congregation astray, that large following you have, the way you are, and you're so arrogant with it, you're so sure about yourself, right? It's definitely not the microchip. No, cancel that. I'm not even going to give it a thought when we're breaking it down so damn elegantly, right? Going into the meaning of words, charagma, charax, chai stigma, all of these, we're going deep into it, man, right? A palisade, a stake, a cut, an engraving, an incision, all of these things, we break it down, right? But you still can't receive it because the God of this world has blinded the minds of them which believe not, right? Got anything?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, this is in the book of Daniel, chapter 12. I'm gonna read verse 10. It says, many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, right? And that's just going off the back of what you just brought out. Wicked doing wicked, being wicked, right? It says, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. So the wise people are the ones that get it, right? The ones that receive it can clearly see with their own two eyes, with their own spirit, and say, yo, the way the Great Millstone is bringing it out is exactly how it's happening, right? Wise people can see that. But then you got unwise, the wicked, like Chief Ephraim, who would rather incite, what do they used to call themselves? Like the pull-up boys.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they used to call themselves, the pull-up boys.
Yeah.
Let's get on Esau's neck. Let's pull up.
Yeah.
What kind of a spirit is that?
Yeah.
That's agent activity.
For those who have been following this truth for a while, man, you obviously have seen the folly of this Chief Ephraim guy over the years, because this man's carnal as hell and he's proven it through his fruit, because basically there was a time where he was telling people to fill up soda bottles so that he can toss it at protesters going out there where the protests are, and trying to get carnal, trying to get physical with them, man. And he tried to call all camps to do that, man. We've got the records, we got the receipts. If you want to bring it out, yeah, man, got it for this lesson. Yeah, can. It's about 5 minutes long. I don't know if we're gonna play the whole thing, but check this out, man. Because this is the type of spirit the man that ain't a man of the Lord comes in, a carnal brute beast, right?
Shalom, shalom.
I don't know if you can see it, but it's all in red.
All praise, the honor, glory to the Most High. I'm gonna let a few people get online real quick. I got a urgent and important message. All right, urgent and important message. Shalom, shalom. All right, this is the urgent and important message. Because I'm watching all the videos. I'm seeing what's going down, what went down. It's in the spirit. I'm calling all camps, all camps, all camps. Shalom came from Japan. All praises. All praises. Yeah, I'm calling all camps. All camps, man. Y'all seen our brothers at WFI, the Watchmen, get attacked by them Palestinians in Chicago. I'm calling all camps to pull up this Saturday, man. This weekend, man, round 2, goddamn. You know what I'm saying? We need to stand by our brothers and pull up. We finna pull up, all right? And we want round 2. We want the smoke with the Palestinians, with the Israelis, calling all camps. We finna pull up. We finna pull up for our brothers at Watchmen. We finna pull up for our brothers at Watchmen. And we going in, goddamn. We going in. I need about an hour and a half to flame them bastards. I need an hour and a half speaking time. I'm telling you that right now. We need all the brothers, all the camps to line up. I'm calling all camps. All camps. We need to be on that front line with our brothers at Watchmen for Israel. Shout out to Naquan. Shout out to Amos. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Isaiah. Azariah, shout out to our brothers, man. We need to pull up in Chicago this weekend, Saturday. Round 2, goddamn. Round 2, we pulling up for our brothers, man. HOI gonna be in the building. Most High willing, we finna pull up. Round 2. It's crunch time. It's fourth quarter. If you're scared to shoot the ball, pass it to a clutch shooter. You dig what I'm saying? All boots on the ground. That's right. They violated. I'm watching all the videos. All of our brothers, whoever can make it, we pulling up this weekend. You know what I'm saying? This weekend. Chicago. That park, whatever that park is called. Somebody put it in the chat. Somebody put that park in the chat. We finna pull up HOI Chicago, HOI Georgia. We finna pull up. The pull-up boys is pulling up. And if you pull up to this, you an honorary pull-up boy. No matter what camp you are. Okay? We finna get it. That's right. Let's get it. They want war. We gonna give them the word of the Lord, baby. We gonna give them the word of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna bring some extra waters. They want to throw water bottles. We're gonna bring a couple of cases. You know what I'm saying? All the Ephraimites, all the northern kingdoms, the Simeonites especially. If y'all could throw a baseball, y'all could throw a water bottle. You know what I'm saying? Everybody on that front line. All the brothers, man. IUIC, UPK, all you brothers that don't get along. We being attacked. We being attacked by what's going on in Israel. Put that pride to the side. And we know maybe a lot of y'all niggas ain't gonna show up, but it is what it is. We finna be there. You know what I'm saying? It could happen to any camp. But it happened to our young bros, man. WFI. We there. We pulling up. All praise, honor, glory to the Most High, man. You know what I'm saying? So we need to, Northern Kingdom. We need them Simeonites. All you Simeonites.
Stop it there. But yeah, look, that's what I'm talking about. Like, you know, calling for freaking action. You know what I mean? What's that about? That ain't freaking the Israelite way. That's agent behavior, man.
That's agent behavior, man. You know, it shows his fruit. You know, we weren't making it up. He calling himself pull-up boys, talking about getting carnal, filling up bottles to throw it at protesters. You really think that's what the gospel's about, Chief Ephraim? And we're supposed to follow a man like you? We're supposed to follow a blind carnal man like you and trust that you have the answers when it comes to the mark of the beast, that the Lord is dealing with a man like that. That's what that's what he thinks we're supposed to follow, that example, right? And he was talking about calling all camps as if Great Millstone's going to be like, yeah, we're going to join you and get carnal. Let's go out there, brothers, and throw bottles. Come on, man. The Lord has to be dealing with somebody out of all these so-called prophets out here that are rising in these end times. The Lord said many false prophets shall rise and deceive many, but you will know them by their fruits. So, you know, a man that is leading you in that type of example, you obviously know that that's one of the false prophets, man. You cross that off the list, you know?
Let me just bring this quickly. Bring it back to Daniel 12 and verse 10. It says, many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly. That's a wicked act. Calling all camps. What if we did actually go out and let's listen to Chief Ephraim? We went out there and we did all that. And then, right, man, you give Esau all the ammunition he needed to demonize his truth. What does it say? Take heed that the ministry be not blamed.
Yeah.
You know, that would have got the ministry blamed even worse. You know what I mean?
And also Satan roameth around as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. Because if you're coming in that type of spirit, then you don't have the protection of the Lord on you, man. When you're acting on your own behalf and not in the Holy Spirit, then you giving a doorway for Satan to come in and sift you, man, devour you. Okay, and that's why Great Millstone. They knew Great Millstone wasn't gonna join in, and they seem to all pick on us and act like we're the problem. I'm not saying I'm a part of Great Millstone, but we follow them. We follow their example, right? We understand that they have the truth. Anyway, let me bring out this preset on the comment board real quick, because a brother brought out a nice fire precept here concerning this carnal man that you just saw, right? 2 Corinthians 10:4, it says, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, right? It says, but mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds. And if we do that spiritually, man, all we need is this. We don't need water bottles, Chief Ephraim. We're not about to toss water bottles at protesters, man. Okay? Especially the Palestinians. They'll think we're on the side of the Israelis, man. They'll think we're picking sides, you know, if we were to do something that dumb. You know? Come on, man. Use your heads. You ain't utilizing wisdom. Let me bring out a quick preset, right? Speaking about wisdom, this is the book of wisdom of Solomon, which is written by one of the wisest men that ever lived, King Solomon, right? It says, for the Most High loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. This, oh, Salakia, Wisdom of Solomon 7:28 was the precept, right? For the Most High loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. Now, this is talking about two types of wisdom, but mainly one type of wisdom. But you can equate it to using your head in a wise manner too. But it's talking about the wisdom of the gospel, the scriptures, the true understanding, the true wisdom of the scriptures, man, right? But you got to also walk wisely in these end times. Be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove, the scriptures say, man. How are we harmless as a dove? By going out there and doing exactly what Yahushua told us not to do. He said, be harmless as a dove and wise as a serpent. You go out, if we were to go out there and do what Chief Ephraim said and be led by his example, then we'd be led into a ditch. Scriptures say if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into a ditch, man. This is the book of Romans chapter 11 and verse 7. It says, what then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, because they are not all Israel that are of Israel, right? So you do have a lot of people that are of our nation. They are definitely our people, but they're not the Israel of the Most High. There's a difference. You have 2/3 that are predestined to be destroyed, and you have 1/3 that is predestined for salvation. But judging by his fruits, it's looking that he might be a part of the 2/3, man, lest he repents. But anyway, I'll read that again, Romans 11:7. What then? Israel, the 2/3, have not obtained that which he seeketh for, because they're seeking the truth. They're seeking to be on the Lord's good side, you know, receive salvation, but they haven't obtained that, right? It says, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. So only the elect are gonna get it. The ones that walk with wisdom, the ones that the Lord truly loves, man. Because the Lord loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom, that has the truth, right? So it says in verse 8, so this is Romans 11:8, it says, according as it is written, the Most High have given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear unto this day, because the prophets are the voice of the Lord, and they're bringing out the true understanding of the mark of the beast, but he don't have the ears to hear, man, and he don't have the eyes to see what's right there in his face. Every day you got Elon Musk making advancements with the Neuralink technology, right? Going into the brain chip. And then you got advancements being made and them getting closer to a digital currency, and advancements with that device that goes in your hands where you can't buy or sell with, man. It's going to have your information on, it's going to have your keys, key to your apartment, key to your car. It's going to be able to log on to your, start your phone up without tapping in a password. There's going to be so many things that it's going to do. They're going to sell it as convenience. But people like Chief Ephraim don't have the eyes to see that, man. You have many other false prophets too that are trying to lead Israel astray, saying it's not the mark of the beast, man. But their doctrine and the way they bring it out, what they believe the mark of the beast is, makes absolutely no sense. It's like they're just throwing shit at the wall and hoping it sticks. How can the mark of the beast be sin? How can you not buy and sell with sin? Where does the grievous sore come in? How is the mark of the beast, John 3:16? How is the mark of the beast sleeping with white women? Or, so many, which one is it? Who are we supposed to follow out of all these people that claim to be the leaders of Israel, man? Who breaking it down as elegantly as Great Millstone, man? This is something you got to consider, man.
I want to bring out, this is in the book of Revelation, chapter 13, and this is the main point, right? Chapter 13, verse 16 says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, right? So that's the prophecy. And it says, verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name, right? So that's the scripture that we're referring to, that Chief Ephraim don't believe in, clearly. But you took the words out of my mouth, because I got Revelation 16 and verse 1 here, right? It says, and I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the seven angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of the Most High upon the earth. Verse 2, which is the point, says, and the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon all the men, upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. So if there's a noisome and grievous sore, how's that explain that, Chief Ephraim? Explain what that is. Because that goes to show you that obviously something's going to affect that chip that's going to cause a noisome and grievous sore. You have to explain that. But you won't, because you never go into it. You skip over that, just like the other camps. They don't really go into that. But let me jump back to the Revelation chapter 14, and I'm going to read verse 9. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into a cup of his indignation, his righteous anger.
It's the full judgment. You're going to get the full strength of the wrath of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, man. You'll be left there to melt in them newts, man.
Yep. And it says, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb.
Them nukes, when the chariots deliver the elect and watch the destruction of America, you're going to be destroyed in America before the Lord, when he's hovering right there watching you in his chariot, man.
Exactly. So if we're in sin, right, already, that means we've already received the mark according to you.
Yeah.
So we're finished.
Now, I'm not 100% sure if that's the doctrine that Chief Ephraim teaches. I've yet to really research. All we know is that all I know is that he doesn't subscribe to it being the chip.
Yeah, whatever he subscribes to it as being, he's still telling people, I don't follow that garbage. He's got a large following. So this is who we're addressing. We're addressing his followers to say, look, Chief Ephraim's wrong.
Yeah.
He's wrong. Whatever he believes in is wrong. You can clearly see it for yourself. But if you accept it, if you follow Chief Wisdom or Chief Ephraim's Chief Ephraim's advice, you're finished.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna end up taking that chip.
But see, everybody has a lot to play in this truth. We all have a role to play. Not everybody woke up to this truth to be delivered, man. Some woke up to this truth to be condemned, to lead others astray, to do the will of the Lord. As far as the sifting mechanism goes, he's set up false prophets to lead certain people astray that he don't want. The Lord said, make the ears of this people fat, make their ears heavy, their heart fat, roughly paraphrasing, lest they get it, basically, right? Because he don't want everybody, man. So somebody has to play the role of leading the undesirables astray, that dross, right? Because these people ain't right, just niggas with Bibles, man. This is the book of First Corinthians, chapter 14 and verse 38. It says, but if any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant. So we are not here to shake you to try to get you believe it, right, Chief Ephraim, and all you people that don't subscribe to the truth, right? We're not here we're here to give the warning, okay? And we've done our job. The blood is off our hands. We're not here to try to persuade you to see what we see, because we understand how this is all meant to play out. we understand what the Bible says and what the prophecies say, man, that not all Israel is going to receive it. Only the election have obtained it, man. Okay. So if any man be ignorant, we're not, ain't our job to try our hardest to beg them to believe. Come on, brother. Can't you see? No, the hell with you, man. If you don't believe it, hey, we ain't letting the incredulity of these people trouble us, man. Let me bring out a few precepts on the comment board because the brother Abadiah has been lighting it up, man. And I don't mean to be disrespectful, but we just, you know, we're in the spirit at the moment. So we're just going to bring out a few of these right now because the brother bringing out some good precepts, man. Shalom to you, brother. This is Abadiah Israel, Matthew 13 and 11. He answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you. Let me see if you got the precept before that. Nah, but it's all good, right? Because the disciples are inquiring with Yahushai, you know, when shall be the end of the world? And this is the answer Yahushai gave them. He says, he answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. Yeah, I think I got that right. Let me Matthew 13. Let me just quickly turn to it because I don't want to butcher that. Just gonna bring out the precept before real quick so that we can put this into perspective. So this is Matthew 13. Okay, why speakest to them in parables? That's what they said. So Matthew 13 and 10. I'll start with 10, right? It says, and the disciples came and said unto him, right? They said unto Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, and Yahuwah, and all Yeshua and all that, Yeshaya, all these false names. They ain't got the truth either. They don't possess the wisdom. It says, and the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? Because Yahushua never normally gave a straight answer. He normally would speak in parables to, you know, to help us in this day and age, you know, things that are written for time, written for our learning. So the wise are going to understand these parables, but there's stumbling blocks into them that the Lord don't want, man. The carnal people, right? Because this is a very spiritual thing we're involved in, right? Only the spirits of the servants are going to understand, right? And it says, why speakest to them in parables? Verse 11, as you see on the screen right here, and he answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. See, so the Lord doesn't want everybody, man. He doesn't want everybody to get it, you know, because contrary to Christianity, it's not about just picking up this Bible and reading it and saying I believe with my lips and thinking you're going to understand it. It's not that type of book, man. This is a very cryptic and very spiritual book, and it's written with dark sayings, parables, and mysteries. And the mysteries of kingdom of heaven are only given to his servants, which Chief Ephraim seems to think he's one of them. We'll see about that in a very near future, man. We'll see who the Lord is dealing with when this system collapses, man. That'll be the ultimate time of revealing, because the Lord said, then shall be known who are my chosen, man. Abadiah Israel, this is 2 Corinthians 10 and 4. It says, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds. I brought that out earlier, but it's all good. Let's go down a bit. And he's got Romans 8 and 7 through 8. It says, because the carnal mind is enmity against the Most High. See, this is a spiritual battle we're involved in, man. We're all at war, right? But it's not a physical battle. We're not about to go out there and throw bottles at protesters. You know what I mean? It says, because the carnal mind is enmity against the Most High, for it is not subject to the law of the Most High, neither indeed can be. Verse 8, it says, so then they that are in the flesh cannot please the Most High. See? You know, we're all in the flesh, but if you're walking according to the flesh, carnality, you know, you can't please the Most High. The Lord says he loves none but him that dwelleth with wisdom, right? Romans 8 and 9, it says, but ye are not in the flesh, but in the spirit. See, like I said, we're all in the flesh, But we're not walking after the flesh, is what this is basically saying, right? We're walking in the spirit. We have the Holy Spirit on us. Therefore, we understand all things, man. This is why we say we have the 100% truth. You know, we don't know what the inside of a chariot looks like. You know, we ain't going that far and saying that's that, you know, that ain't what we have in mind. Little details like that when we say we have the 100% truth. It means that we have the true gospel and what is significant for salvation, man. Romans 8 and 9, I'm gonna continue. It says, but ye are not in the flesh, but in the spirit, if so be that the spirit of the Most High dwelleth in you. It says, now if any man have not the spirit of the Hamashiach, he is none of his. See, because not everybody, you know, is the Israel of the Most High, man. Not everybody that is of that seed is the ones the Lord is dealing with. Matthew 10 and 13, it says, and if the house be worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it be not worthy, let your peace return to you. See? So if any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant, basically, man. Okay. You know, we ain't out here saying, okay, Chief Ephraim is our brother and we have to love him and we have to respect him and respect his beliefs and listen not. You know what I mean? Listen, man, if you don't get it, hey, you know, I wouldn't say Godspeed, but you know what I mean?
That's yes.
We let you, hey, do as you're gonna do, man. Do what you're made to do, man.
Yeah, and that's what I used to sort of query years ago when I was just coming into the truth. When they had these unity camps and they had like different camps that had different doctrines. So it's like how do you work with that?
Yeah.
This camp over here believes, you know, in the digital system. This camp over here believes it's sin. This camp over there believes sleeping with white women. It's like how do you have a unity camp when you're all speaking different things? You know what I mean? That never made sense to me. But there you go.
This is Amos 3 and 3. It says, can two walk together except they be agreed? No, it's a rhetorical question, man. You can't walk. Listen, you ain't gonna be hand in hand and on the same, you know, the same level with a brother that just don't get it, man. You know, you can't have a unity camp with somebody that's teaching different doctrine. That's confusion, man. The Lord is not the author of confusion. Okay, it's very, very easy to understand, man. But these people seem to stumble at things that are
Plain and simple.
very, very easy to understand. It just shows you the power of the Lord, how much He's blinded the minds of certain people, man. Salaki, my throat's a bit dry. I forgot to bring my water with me today. It's hot out here too, man. Right, let me bring out the next comment by the brother Abadiah Israel. Matthew 10:14, it says, and whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear your words, when we tell you ever so clearly what the mark of the beast is, right? If you don't receive us, it says, when you depart out of that house or city, shake off the dust off your feet, right? So we ain't gonna bid you Godspeed and say, bless you, brother, keep, you know, I hope you, you know, help his ministry, make their congregation some garments and give them tithes and offerings. Hey, just do your thing, right? Because you obviously have a role to play. We understand, we're wise enough to know that we ain't about to convince you to jump on board with the truth. So it is what it is. Just do what you got to do, man, because you obviously are playing your role very good. Gosh. John 15 and 18, it says, if the world hate you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. Verse John 15 and 19, it says, if ye were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. Now, I haven't heard out of his lips that him saying, Chief Ephraim saying he hates us, but you can tell by their actions that they're at enmity with us, man. Us that have the truth, the Great Millstone and the affiliates, the ones that teach the true doctrine, right? Because this latest trick up his sleeve is basically him showing how much he hates us by trying to. I bet he was pondering on ways he can, he can make Great Millstone look bad and cause a stumbling block, and it didn't work as normal. Never does, right? Anybody that normally comes against Great Millstone, they end up getting judged in some type of way before all of Israel, man. They'll either get locked up when they accuse us of being rapists and molesting little girls. Then it comes out that they were, and they get locked up for it, right? Or if he says, "Oh, Jonah can only swallow," no, not Jonah, but a whale can only swallow something no bigger than an orange, and then like 2 weeks later or something, a man all over the news gets swallowed by a damn whale. You don't understand, man. The Lord has certain men. You touch not his anointed. The Lord has certain men that he's truly dealing with. And, only the wise are going to really, really understand that, It's a spiritual thing, man. And if your spirit ain't right, you're going to gravitate toward lies, man. So the world don't love us because we have the truth, man. Good precept. Let me get the next one here. Oh, Shalom, bro.
Hey, shalom.
I'm just seeing this now. Hey, Yahweh Shimi Awashai, Barakatah to you and your brother.
Hey, how about Shimmy Al-Shai Barakatah?
Right? It's good to see you join the live, bro. Let me see here. Oh, GMS and his likeness on there too, bro.
All the brothers.
Yeah, only Akim are on there, man.
Shalom.
Shalom, bro. If you're still watching, Shalom to you.
Hey, how about
Subscribe to
Shimmy
these.
Al-Shai Barakatah?
Yeah, subscribe to all these brothers on the comment board, man. Maybe, these are the real servants. And they're bringing out the 100% truth, man. So Yahweh Shim Yahushai Barakatah to you. I think that's it for the precepts on the comment board. So we're gonna go ahead and continue with our precepts, and then we'll wrap this up. This ain't gonna be too much longer. What we 52 minutes. Right. Have you got anything?
Yeah,
You can do that while I grab something.
Yeah, so this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 6, verse 8. It says, "Also I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Then said I, Here am I, send me." Now this is Isaiah saying, "Hey, here I am, send me." Right? Now verse 9 says, "And he said, Go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not. Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert and be healed." Right. So Isaiah is obviously volunteering for the service of the Most High, and Most High has commanded him to go out and preach a message. Right. The Most High's word, it can definitely have like different effects on people. So some people receive it, some people won't. Right. Chief Ephraim, he's starting to look like he ain't receiving the word. You know what I mean? It says, understanding can bring the healing, right? So people that listen and they receive it and then they're healed, they basically, hey, hope, Lord willing, they come on this side and start preaching the word, doing videos, doing lessons, edifying the people. You know what I mean? Doing that lesson. It says some people, Chief Ephraim, they harden their hearts because they're already resistant to the truth. They're already resistant. Like Chief Ephraim came in this thing, and people were flocking to him because they liked his energy, they liked his presence. But as time's gone on, you're starting to see like certain things that he's doing is like, hold on a minute, hold on a minute, that's off. That's off. You calling all camps, tribe of Simeon. You guys have got some good baseball players. You could throw them balls,
Throw some bottles at the protesters.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like,
And these are the,
like
these are the people that his followers are following, man.
That's right.
He's leading them straight into a ditch, which is nuclear holocaust.
That's it. That's it. And that's why it says, make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy and shut their eyes. Let's say, see with their eyes and hear with their ears and understand with their heart and convert and be healed. He don't want people to be healed.
Oh,
He wants people to be niggas.
yeah, man.
Pull up, boys.
Pull up,
Pull
boys.
up.
What kind of shit is that? Gosh, man.
That's what I'm saying. That's why you
Wait.
gotta watch. Like Yahweh Shai told us, man. Beware of false prophets.
Pull up, boys. Like, imagine stepping before King Solomon and saying, yeah, I know, King Solomon, we're going to go out and do the work of the Lord. We're going to call ourselves the pull up boys. King Solomon would be like, I ain't wise, man. You know, what the hell are you thinking? Like, get out of my sight. But this is Isaiah 56 and 10. His watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark, sleeping, laying down, loving to slumber. Right? So the point in that is basically, this fits Chief Ephraim, right? He's it says his watchmen are blind. Now, for you to be not basically watching the times we're in, how the developments with the digital currency and how the nations are all jumping on board with it, and he's here talking about, what nation and what white nation is gonna implement it. It could be Moab that gets it popping, man. Who knows? All we know is that all countries are gonna be on board with this because it's gonna be a worldwide thing. The Lord says, "Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwelleth in the flesh." Roughly paraphrasing, right? But basically, it's going to come upon all the world. So all the countries are going to be involved with this. How do you not know this, Chief Ephraim, man? It ain't rocket science. It's right there in the scriptures, man. So it don't matter what nation implements it. We never said it was going to be a white nation, the so-called white nation that's going to implement it. Moab is making hella advancements with the MOTB, and India. Okay. Could be them for all we know, right? No one said it was going to be a white nation. But his let me read that again. His watchmen are blind. This is Isaiah 56 and 10. His watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. And that's Chief Ephraim to the T. And people like him, right? Ignorant to the truth, man. They're all dumb dogs. It says they cannot bark, right? Because you ain't warning your people. You ain't a dog. When a dog barks, they're warning their owner of danger. What are you doing? How are you warning your congregation of the mark of the beast that's coming, man? The microchip. Even if you believe it's not the microchip, why ain't you teaching about it, man? Why ain't you bringing out things about how they're trying to make us all a perpetual slave through this new currency, which is going to change everything? Why would it not be biblical, man? It's such a major turning point, pivotal moment in history, right? Why would it not be biblical, man? Of course it's the mark of the beast. You ain't got the spirit of discernment, man. Sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber, right? Verse 11, Isaiah 56 and 11. Yeah, they are greedy dogs which can never have enough, and they are shepherds that cannot understand. A shepherd is supposed to lead the sheep to safety, man. But you don't have the understanding to be able to do that. So you're leading your congregation, all them simple-ass followers of yours, you're leading them straight into judgment, man. Straight to the lake of fire, which is America getting nuked for you other false shepherds out there that don't have understanding, right? Genesis, right? Says everyone for his gain from his quarter. Now, I don't know personally of Chief Ephraim, doing things to try and make money, but maybe something has slipped my mind. I don't know. All I know is he's off when it comes to the MOTB, man.
I do remember that he had that little community that he was trying to build.
Oh yeah,
and he had like a lot of offerings. I don't know what happened with it, but yeah. He's buying all that land up. I don't know if that was part of HOI's plan and he was just involved, but I do remember that they had something going on. But I don't really follow HOI.
Yeah, but you do have false prophets out there that are in this thing for money, right? What's the brother say? Hold on a minute. He said, brotherhood over breakdowns, mad thing. That's right. That's right, Art. GMS and his likeness. You know, because that's something that they, you know, they've been teaching, you know, brotherhood over breakdowns. What was it, Sakari that said that? Or was it it was Sakari before they broke up, I think, wasn't it? Before they split into Genesis.
I can't remember.
I know it was Sakari. I know it was Sakari, but I don't know if it was after they split into two or before. But
Well, the Lord did to him, then, huh?
yeah, but the Lord divided them, broke up that camp. But also, you know, their fruit is more and more exposing them as being false prophets as we get closer to the end, because brotherhood over breakdowns is not scriptural, man. It's breakdowns over brotherhood, really, because you have to have the true understanding, true breakdowns in order to be able to love your brother efficiently and correctly, right?
Yeah.
It's Patrick saying, Shalom, bro. Good
Yeah,
to see you
shalom,
joining
shalom.
live, bro. It says probably threatened
Yeah,
his
then
family.
Yeah, then people they like, they like to do that.
Yeah.
You know, you better take this bag, otherwise something might happen to your
The
kids.
bag, the Judas purse.
Yeah.
That's right, man. Sorry, man. They definitely they robbing their congregation. Right. So I want to read this. This is 2nd Ezra 15:1. It says, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. So is that spirit you're coming in, Chief Ephraim, man? You need to be talking about the MOTB, man, the mark of the beast, right? Being the microchip. But you're not doing that. You're not even speaking about the microchip, even if you believe it's not the mark of the beast, which you don't. But you're not even warning your congregation of that because you don't have the testimony of the Lord. And what is the testimony of the Lord? It's the spirit of prophecy, right? The Lord told us, I'm gonna read this one more time before I jump to that, right? But that's in the book of Revelations, chapter 19 and verse 10, right? Because that's the spirit we got to be coming in, man. If you think you have the testimony of the Lord, then you got to be coming in the spirit of prophecy. But this is 2nd Ezra 15:1 one more time. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. It's very important for us to prophesy, whether you believe yourself to be a prophet or not. We're set up to be watchmen. Okay, we're supposed to, when we see something, we're supposed to say something concerning, the prophecies, man, the impending danger that's coming, the FEMA camps, the
Jacob's trouble.
Jacob's trouble, the MOTB, the famine, the war, all these things. These are prophecies, man. There's many other prophecies too, but we gotta be speaking prophecy, man, because it's a part of warning, the elect. So this is Revelations 19 and 10. Salakia, dry throat, man. It says, and I fell at his feet to worship him. So this is John the Revelator saying that he fell at the feet of an angel to worship the angel, man. Which, I'm sure any of us, if an angel appeared in front of us with all his power and glory, we'd probably fall at his feet too. But because that's how glorious of a sight that would be, right? He fell at his feet to worship the angel. And it says, and he said unto me, see thou do it not. Right? So the angel said, don't fall at my feet and worship me. And it says, I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren. So the servants are, for one, the brethren. You have to be an Israelite to be a servant, right? But he says he's a fellow servant of John. That's why he shouldn't worship me. I'm your equal, basically, right? I'm just a fellow servant like you. It says, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushai. So the servants have the testimony of Yahushai. And there's Chief Ephraim in that opening clip that we brought out, where you're talking about the $1 million question, right? Concerning the mark of the beast. And he's talking about how he's the servant, he said, right? He specifically said that he's a servant. But this is the quality that a servant would have according to the Bible. He says, I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushai. So the servants have the testimony of the Yahushai. and it's going to explain what the testimony of Yahushua is. It says, worship the Most High, for the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. So that's, that's the spirit you got to be in order to have the testimony of Yahushua, Chief Ephraim, right? Now, let me bring out one more precept to try to just sort of put this all into perspective. 1 second here, right? This is the book of Sirach. I had to look it up real quick. This book of Sirach, chapter 36. And you'll see where I'm going with this. And what was it? 12 through 15. Let me highlight that in my phone. This is my old phone. I have to use this for pulling up precepts while I'm recording on this phone, my new phone. But it says, Sirach 36, starting at 12, O Yahweh, it says, O Lord, have mercy upon the people that is called by thy name, and upon Israel, whom thou hast named thy firstborn. It says, oh, be merciful unto Jerusalem, right? Jerusalem is a people before its place, so it's talking about the Israelites. It says, be merciful unto Jerusalem, thy holy city, another name for the Israelites. It says, the place of thy rest, because the Lord dwelleth among the children of Israel, right? It says, in verse 14, it says, fill Zion with thine unspeakable oracles, and thy people with thy glory. And this is the point right here in verse 15. It says, give testimony unto those that thou hast possessed from the beginning, right? The ones that are predestined, the Alahayim, man. The ones that are predestined to be the 144,000 elect, the ones that are sealed, man. Okay? So it says, give testimony unto those that thou hast possessed from the beginning, and raise up prophets that have been in thy name. See? So you must have the name. That's key, right? Chief Ephraim has the name. He doesn't really bring out the name like he should, because in that clip that we brought out, I think it was both of them. I know it was definitely the red one, but I'm pretty sure it was the first one, the $1 million question one too, that we brought out earlier. He opens it up with all praises to the Most High, right? Which is a slap in the face and an insult to Yahushua, really, right? Because it ain't all praises to the Most High. It's Kol Halal Yahweh Bahasham Yahushua, man. You got to acknowledge the Son too, man. Or you should reverence the Son. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry, right? Show some respect, man. All praise to the Most High, madness. But anyway, it says, give testimony unto those that thou hast possessed from the beginning. So this is what the Lord has done. The elect have the testimony of Yahushua, man. Okay, which Chief Ephraim obviously doesn't have, man, because he's not coming in the spirit of prophecy. He seems to think it's a light thing when it comes to the understanding of the mark of the beast. Otherwise, he'd be bringing it out and stressing it and breaking down what the grievous sore is and going into the meaning of words to really make his congregation understand. But he can't do that because there's too many holes in that doctrine that they teach. If it ain't the truth, then it don't add up, man. And then they got to try and put different pieces of the puzzle to sort of make it work. And then they end up getting more and more confounded, man. You know, it becomes a big mess, a big ball of confusion. You know, the truth ain't, you don't need to really struggle to bring out what the truth is. And we're all going to speak the same thing, that have the testimony of Yahushua, man. We ain't got to get together and say, all right, you know, brother, did you say the same thing I said? Because we don't want, you know, we want to make sure that we're all on point here. No, we don't need to do that. The Spirit is going to reveal to the elect what the true gospel is, and they're going to run with it. You don't need to be sat there and say we all gotta come together, otherwise we're gonna make ourselves look stupid. No, it's just gonna flow naturally, man, because it is the truth, man. Anyway,
Yeah, I got a precept. Yeah, so this is the book of First Peter, chapter 5, verse 5. It says, likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Now you have the elders and apostles, starting with the head apostles, elders and apostles of Great Millstone, right? They've got so much wisdom, you know, like knowledge and understanding. And this Chief Ephraim, you know, he ain't got no one like he ain't got no understanding, right? It says, likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Yeah, all of you be subject one to another, and be clothed with humility. For the Most High resisteth the proud, and giveth grace to the humble. Right? Hey, keep free from you ain't getting like you ain't, none of that. You ain't humble, and he resisteth the proud. Right? You're a proud dude, man. All right, it says, verse 6, it says, humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of the Most High, that he may exalt you in due time. Right? So in due time, you be exalted. Right? Casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. It says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Right? And that's what we got to watch out for in these times, man. That devil is walking about, seeking who he may devour. So we got to keep in mind that, hey, Chief Ephraim saying that, he don't believe that the MOTB, mark of the beast, is the micro C hip. He don't believe that.
Yeah.
And that's something you got to be careful about. That's the roaring lion walking about, seeking who he may devour. The ones that don't, receive it, they're the ones that are going to fall for that and be like, yeah, I don't believe that either. Yeah, Chief. Thanks. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to be devoured.
Yeah. But I'll read Malachi in a sec. But they're talking about unity camps and coming together and all that, which I already brought out Amos 3:3. Two can't walk together lest they be agreed, right? But they're all teaching different things when it comes to the mark of the beast. You got some that are teaching that it's sin. You got some that are teaching that it's sleeping with white women. You got some that's saying it's an embargo. You got some that's saying that it's John 3:16, right? You got some that really ain't even going into what it is. They just scoffing at, what it actually is, because they just want a way to try and make Great Millstone look bad, look like bug outs, but it ain't working, man. Okay, there's ain't no holes in our doctrine. What was I about to bring out? Malachi 3:18, right? I'm just seeing if there's any more meat on this. Yeah, let me start up a bit at 16, right? So this is Malachi, the book of Malachi, chapter 3 and verse 6, starting at 16, point is in 18. It says, then they that feared Yahweh spake often one to another. So this is prophecy, right? Basically, the Lord saying that in the end times, the ones that the true followers, the true ones that reverence the Lord, fear the Lord, which means to reverence him, right? The true followers of the Lord spake often one to another by doing these lessons that we do, right? The order went out that we must do at least, I think, 3 videos a week, right? But that's often, and what we're doing is speaking to the elect when we do these lessons, right? We're not dressing to 2/3. This ain't for them. We're speaking often one to another the testimony of Yahweh Shai, right? It says, then they that feared Yahweh spake often one to another, and Yahweh hearkened, right? So he listened, he acknowledged us. It says, and heard it. And a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared Yahweh and that thought upon his name. So there again, it backs up the fact that you have to have the name, right? But that doesn't automatically guarantee you salvation, because many in that day will say, Lord, Lord, didn't I prophesy? Wasn't I on the highways and hedges and doing this and doing that for you? And the Lord say, depart from me, I never knew you. So it ain't just about having the name, but you have to have the testimony too. And ultimately, it's whether or not the Lord has mercy on you, man. Whether his, you receive grace, man. The Lord says he gives grace to the humble, right? So, verse 17, right? Malachi 3:17, it says, and they shall be mine, saith Yahweh of hosts, in that day when I make up the jewels, my jewels. It says, and I will spare them as a man spareth his own son that serveth him. See? So this is why the Lord said his servants are going to eat, his servants are going to rejoice while they're hungry, while they're thirsty. We're going to drink, Lord willing, we're part of that. But the servants are going to, be taken care of in the time of Jacob's trouble. That's why the scriptures say, then shall be known who are my chosen, in the book of 2nd Ezra. I believe it was chapter 16 and around verse 70, right? Because when it all kicks off, it's going to be evident who the Lord is dealing with, man, because we're going to need Michael the archangel to stand up for us, and we're gonna need these miracles from the Lord for us to get by in them times, because that's how bad it's gonna be. A time like has never been in the world, man. How we think we're gonna on our own strength get through that, right? So then it's gonna be known who are his chosen, who are his servants, right? Verse 18, this is the point. Malachi 3 and 18, it says, then shall ye return and discern between the righteous and the wicked, right? Between him that serveth the Most High and him that serveth him not. So making statements like that, $1 million question, call it all camps, you know what I mean? Call it all camps. Let's throw water bottles at these Palestinian protesters, right? Stir up some shit, right? Get the ministry blamed. You know, us that are truly, the Lord is truly dealing with, the ones that have the wisdom, dwelling with wisdom, we can see that that's off, man. So we can see, I'm read it again, verse 18, Malachi 3 and 18, then shall ye return, right? Come, we're going to flee from Christianity, return to the true God of Israel, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, right? Then shall ye return and discern, right? We're going to be able to tell between the righteous and the wicked. So people that the Lord is dealing with, we're going to know them by their fruits. And we're going to know who a 2/3 is by their fruits. It says, between him that serveth the Most High and him that serveth him not. So just because you have a Bible in your hand, you got your fringe t-shirts on, and you're out there on the highways and hedges talking about bring it out, right? That don't make you a man of the Lord, because your fruit says otherwise, man. Because you ain't getting things that are very plain to the holy, plain for the holy to understand. Okay, so you got anything else you want to bring out? Check comment board. All right, we good. Right, I think that's it, man. You know what I mean? Because we don't need to beat a dead horse. I mean, the point is made, man, and it's the elect are gonna understand. It's very clear to see who the Lord is dealing with, man. You know them by their fruits, and by a man that calls himself the leader of a large congregation. He's got a lot of followers, man. That's setting a bad example out here, man. Talking about throwing bottles at protesters for one, and then you just displaying that you have no understanding when it comes to such a crucial thing to understand. It's very important that your congregation are firm, 10 toes down in the belief as to what the mark of the beast is, because when the hour of temptation comes, there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna be going through hell in Jacob's trouble, and they're gonna be starving, and they're gonna if they have just a little bit of thought that it might not be the microchip, because Chief Ephraim said, I do kind of believe Great Millstone, but then I'm still following Chief Ephraim. I don't want to depart from that camp, so I'm gonna hope that he's right. That instinct is gonna kick in, because your flesh is gonna be like a crackhead looking for its next fix. You're gonna be, it's gonna be like a survival type thing, man. So you're gonna lean towards something that your ears are itching for. It's not the microchip. So I'm gonna take it because they're offering me food and a hot shower, and comfortability of this, of this system. I'm not gonna be an outcast. I'm not gonna be. The trial is going to be a lot smoother if I take it. So your flesh, if you got a little bit of a hope that it's not the mark of the microchip, you're going to run with that when that hour of temptation comes, man. That's why it's very vital that you are 10 toes down with the 100% truth, man. Okay, so this is why we do what we do, man.
Yeah, and just to add as well, a lot of people are gonna be looking for answers in that day, and the chief ain't gonna have them. He ain't gonna have them. He's gonna be like, yeah, it ain't the microchip. So like my brother just said, he just mentioned that you find that little excuse is all you need, and then next thing you know, just give it.
Yeah,
just give it. That's all right. It can't be the mark of the beast. It can't be the chip. Because Ephraim said, like my brother mentioned,
yeah, man. That's why you just have to be 10 toes down with it. So, this is why we go into it a lot. Go into words, give you the true understanding, so that you are 100% sure that it is what it is, right? Now, that's why it's vital to get it right. But anyway, on that note, man, we're going to close out. Lord willing, you've been edified by this lesson. We're going to give all honor, face the east, give all honor, praise, and glory.
Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Hashem, Rakah, Kwadash.
All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
The water for tuning in, brothers. The water for tuning in, and the water for the precepts, man. It really helps the lesson. The water for that.
Brothers lit up that comment board.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, Shalom.
Yeah, shalom, man.
Shalom.